Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yellow fellow sim fans, it's blazing hot today. Don't you worry, just chill. Let the good
Will Follow the
vibes
Light
sway.
sold me a very specific fantasy. A small sailing yacht, treacherous northern waters, violent storms, and a desperate voyage to find your family. Within its opening minutes, it appeared ready to deliver exactly that experience. I was thrown onto the deck of a yacht, being battered by enormous waves. The wind was howling all around me, the rigging was under pressure, and I had to reduce sails before the mast was damaged forever. It was intense, convincing, and visually spectacular.
Oh, if I hadn't dropped the sail, that would have been it. Starboard side, wave!
Unfortunately, it also created some expectations that the rest of the opening 2 hours really struggled to fulfill. Because while Will Follow the Light may look like a realistic sailing game, it is actually a highly cinematic, story-driven adventure containing exploration, environmental puzzles, and a heavily simplified sailing experience. And that distinction really matters. This review is based on the opening 2 hours rather than a completed playthrough. We have therefore assessed only the mechanics, the environments, and the technical performance directly experienced during the session, and not the entirety of the story.
No! No!
You will play as Will, a lighthouse keeper working alone in a remote northern location. An approaching storm forces Will to prepare the weather station, communications equipment, generators, and the lighthouse itself. At the same time, he learns that his estranged father has unexpectedly returned and may well have taken Will's missing son, Thomas, out on a boat. What begins as an ordinary lighthouse shift develops into a personal mystery involving a natural disaster, Will's family, and potentially unreliable memories. Structurally, this is a linear first-person narrative adventure. You will explore detailed environments, inspect personal belongings, read documents, speak to characters, and complete practical puzzles along the way. These include recording weather measurements, tuning radio frequencies, restoring electrical systems, assembling a sailing winch, and operating industrial equipment. The yacht eventually becomes another means of moving the story forward, but it's not an open-world sailing experience, and it should not be treated as one either.
Thomas? Thomas! Where are you? Where?
The gameplay is strongest when its activities feel naturally connected to Will's occupation. Collecting weather readings, preparing the lighthouse for a storm, and checking the emergency generator all contribute to the setting. These jobs make the lighthouse feel like a functioning workplace rather than merely a dramatic backdrop. The individual puzzles also provide reasonable variety. One moment you are matching radio waveforms, the next you are navigating an electrical circuit, rebuilding a winch, or using a crane in order to move cargo around a warehouse. None of these systems are especially deep, but they do help prevent the experience from becoming a basic, boring walking simulator. Unfortunately, the game increasingly relies on artificial obstruction. A simple objective regularly develops into several unrelated errands. You need to complete a component for your boat, but first, the harbour loses power. To restore the power, you must enter another ship and solve another puzzle. Only then can you operate the crane, retrieve the component, and return to the original job. The player then is repeatedly asked to perform tasks that should logically be handled by the people already employed at the lighthouse, workshop, harbour, or bar. Objective guidance is also somewhat inconsistent. Important objects can be somewhat difficult to locate, some areas are extremely dark, and characters occasionally provide instructions that are either unclear or apparently incorrect. Considerable time was spent searching for the harbour master, the winch components, a replacement fuse, and the correct power equipment. and it does not create meaningful difficulty, it just creates friction. The story itself is also extremely linear. There are occasional dialogue choices and opportunities to decide what Will records in his report, but the significance of those decisions could not yet be determined. There is enough variety to remain engaging, but the systems are shallow and too many objectives rely on unnecessary errands, backtracking and unclear directions.
Too early for this part. It won't fit now. Too early for this part. It won't fit now.
This, I think, is where Will Follow the Light becomes far more impressive. The lighthouse station feels remote, exposed, and believable. The surrounding cliffs, rough weather, and distant sea establish an immediate sense of isolation. Inside the buildings, photograph letters, children's drawings, model boats, and personal possessions gradually reveal the relationships between Will, his son, his late wife, and his estranged father. These details are not simply scattered collectibles. Many of them help explain Will's memories and emotional state, and the opening storm is particularly effective. The boat pitches violently beneath your feet, water crashes over the deck, and visibly collapses as you struggle to control the sail. It produces a genuine sense that the sea is more powerful than both the yacht and the person attempting to control it. Later sequences involving the lighthouse failure, an approaching vessel, and the devastated town continue building tension and uncertainty. There are moments when the immersion breaks. Will occasionally responds too casually to serious events. Some characters seem remarkably relaxed, considering that people are missing and large parts of the town have been utterly destroyed.
Of course I knew her. She was an outstanding scientist. We all still remember her with great respect. Are you her husband?
Yeah, I'm her husband, and the father of our son. He disappeared after the mudslide, and no one's seen him. I thought maybe he came here. He used to talk a lot about his mother's work.
Thomas, right?
Yeah, Thomas. Have you seen him?
He used to come around now and then, but that was before...
Navigation frustration also makes it difficult to remain emotionally invested when you're repeatedly searching for the next interactive object or going to and from locations that you've already once visited. Nevertheless, the quality of the environments and the environmental storytelling is exceptional.
Say thanks again.
Oh, well, forget about it. This is my job. Of course I had to help you. I'll be waiting to hear your story about the journey.
The audio is arguably the strongest part of the entire experience. The storm sequence is outstanding in this regard. As wind tears across the deck, the waves strike the hull, the rigging moving under pressure, and thunder overwhelms the surrounding environment. Inside the lighthouse, the sound becomes more controlled, but remains detailed. Electrical equipment hums, radios distort, and the building reacts to the weather outside. One particular impact during the storm was convincing enough to make me physically jump.
Good thing I've got the backup power running. There's something wrong with the main power. Ooh, what was that?
The music is equally effective. It introduces tension without constantly overwhelming the scene and becomes increasingly unsettling as Will's situation deteriorates. Most of the voice acting is convincing, particularly during ordinary radio conversations and quieter pieces of dialogue. However, the emotional delivery is inconsistent.
I need to replace the lamp upstairs.
Several characters sound as though their dialogue was recorded separately without enough understanding of the surrounding situation. Will occasionally appears surprisingly composed while searching for his missing son, and one attempted Cockney accent is particularly unconvincing.
Dad, I'm so glad we got to visit Mum with the expedition.
Yeah, she was very happy to see us. Come here.
Those weaknesses prevent a perfect result, but the wider soundscape remains exceptionally good.
It's a complex machine where every part directly affects how we move.
Visually, Will Follow the Light is frequently stunning. The northern environments are cold, damp, and hostile. Surfaces are richly detailed. Interior spaces feel lived in, and distant landscapes create a convincing sense of scale. The lighthouse ruined town, harbour and yachts each have a clear visual identity. The lighting is especially effective during storms and interior sequences, although certain areas become excessively dark. At several points, finding the correct route or interacting with objects became slightly difficult simply because the scene was almost impossible to see. The sailing sections remain visually impressive. Molly moves convincingly through the water, the coastline gradually falls away behind you, and the combination of sea, sky, and distant lands produces some really rather beautiful scenes. The waves do not always behave with complete physical realism, however, but they remain convincing enough for a cinematic adventure. The initial experience was not completely smooth. The first shader compilation process was extremely lengthy, and the game initially opened with the wrong resolution despite appearing to be full screen on a 4K display. Both the resolution and full screen mode had to be corrected manually. Once configured though, performance remained around 50 frames per second at 4K during the recorded session on an RTX 4070 Ti. There were occasional micro-stutters, but no crashes or catastrophic technical failures were encountered. Some of the larger problems are related to usability rather than raw performance. Interaction prompts are not always clear, important objects can blend into the environment, and certain instructions conflict with what the puzzle actually allows. The warehouse sequence, for example, suggested that boxes should not be placed on the floor, even though doing so appeared to be necessary in order to complete the task. This is where expectations must be controlled. The opening storm creates an excellent illusion of realistic sailing. You reduce the sails, work with the storm jib, move around the deck and attempt to keep your yacht under control whilst large waves repeatedly try and knock it off course. But much of that sequence is scripted. Once normal sailing becomes available, the underlying simulation is extremely limited. The sails are raised and lowered through simplified interactions. Sail trim is reduced to a basic winch control and directional indicators. The engine can behave inconsistently when entering or leaving the helm position. The navigation relies heavily on obvious markers rather than genuine chart work. The terminology is also questionable. The game appears to misunderstand or mistranslate several basic nautical terms, including the complete lack of a halyard. Most disappointingly, voyages can be skipped entirely. That makes sense for players who are primarily interested in the story, but it also demonstrates that the sailing is a traversal system rather than a mechanical heart of the game. There is no evidence during these opening hours of detailed wind modelling, points of sail, navigation procedures, tidal effects, rig management, or meaningful vessel maintenance whilst underway. The yacht looks excellent. Being aboard it is quite pleasant, but it does not currently provide anything close to being an authentic sailing experience.
Son, let's start by raising the anchor.
I know where it is. The anchor's up on the bow.
All right, let's go.
Follow the Light is an impressive atmospheric adventure trapped beneath potentially misleading expectations. Its environments are beautiful, its sound design is exceptional, and its opening storm is one of the most convincing depictions of dangerous weather I think I have experienced in a sailing game. There is a compelling mystery here, supported by strong environmental storytelling and a genuine desire to discover what has happened to Will's family. However, its gameplay is heavily linear. Its puzzles frequently become artificial errands, and its objective design creates avoidable frustration. Most importantly, though, the sailing is not remotely deep enough to satisfy anyone looking for a genuine sailing simulation, despite looking fantastic. Buy this for the northern atmosphere, the emotional mystery, for the detailed environments and the cinematic journey it provides. Do not buy it because you expect to learn, practice, or authentically enjoy a sailing experience.
Yellow fellow sim fans, it's blazing hot today. Don't you worry, just chill. Let the good vibes sway. Hey. Hey, all you listening, we're here to brighten your life. Sim UK Reviews brings the joy, cutting through the strife. I know it's hot out there, but don't let it get you down. Just chill out at the sim shop, we'll turn it all around. Cool running, let the worries fade away. Sim UK Reviews, making everything okay. Honest reviews, straight from the heart. Oh, ultimate realism, we're here to play our part. We don't play games, we simulate reality right. Check our best tutorials, light up your game tonight. Subscribe so just upon the month, join the crew for fun. The Sim Shacks where honesty will always run. The truth will out, so better safe than sorry. We got your back, oh, no need to worry. Cool running, let the worries fade away. Sim UK Reviews, making everything okay. Honest reviews, straight from the heart. Oh, ultimate realism, we're here to play our part. So if the sun's too hot and you're feeling down, just kick back at the Sim Shack, turn that frown around. With the crew by your side, every moment feels right. We're here to keep it cool, let's shine bright tonight. Cool running, cool running. Cool running, just relax and stay tuned. Sim UK Reviews, your sanctuary. We'll never be marooned. Together we'll build and share all that we love. In the realm of the Sims, with the stars.